We're back for another episode. In this episode we're going to be doing the patch 2.55 story, which will be the end of A Realm Reborn. So this will be the last series of quests until the expansion Heavensward. So we're right here in the Rising Stones with our friend Mithrie. So let's see what she has to say. The first quest is called Mask of Grief. So Mithrie has a request to make of you. Have you a moment, Mithrie? I believe Yida wished a word with you. I should consider it a personal favour if you would lend a sympathetic ear to her troubles. She has not been herself since Moonbreeder's passing, and my heart aches to see her so downcast. Okay, so let's go and talk to Yida. And when I do story quests, I take my time. I read it all out. I absorb as much of the story as I possibly can. Oh, poor Yida. Let's see what she's feeling. So, hey, is Mithrie great? Oh, it's no use. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's just hard, you know? The thing is, I know Moan would tell me off if she saw me moping around like this, which is why I decided to cheer myself up by getting her a special flower. I placed an order for a moon daisy with Rowena a little while ago, and it's ready to be picked up. The trouble is, I find Rowena a bit difficult at the best of times, and well, this isn't one of them. I know it's silly, but I just can't face it at the moment, so I was wondering, do you think you could maybe collect it for me? I have the coin to pay for the flower right here. Thank you so much. I'll be waiting for you. And the daisy, a Rayfrost. Cool. So let's go get the flower from Rowena, who's just up the hill here in Revenant's Toll. Obviously lots of people here doing this quest line. Everyone's using the Magitech because the music for it has changed. So I might try that in a sec. Anyway, here is Rowena. So let's see what she has to say. She says, "What can I do for you today, adventurer? Eldritch trinket to trade." So I'm going to give her the flower payment. It says a sack of gil received from Yida in exchange for a single moon daisy. Hey, they've got you running errands now. Them scions really know how to make the most of your talents, don't they? Sending the Saviour of Eorzea to the Bleeding Market. Fine use of your time, that is. Seriously though, you'd best learn how to say no, or they'll have you mucking out the stables next. Anyway, what was it you were here to pick up? The moon daisy, was it? Here then, take it. And tell Yida lass, I've got a wide selection of headwear in stock if she ever decides to replace that dowdy old mask of hers. God knows she needs to. That would be interesting, if she upgrades her head kit before the expansion. So anyway, let's do the Magitech mount, because one thing that they've done is essentially change the music of the Magitech mount to be the Terror theme from Final Fantasy VI. Nice. Oh well, never mind. So they might start adding interesting music to each of the mounts or something. Just have an excuse to bring them into the game. Oh, sorry. I was meant to actually go there with the flower. So silly me. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Well, I guess it'll give us a chance to listen to the Terror theme. The Terror theme was basically the world map theme of Final Fantasy VI. And they decided to add this in because they actually released a video, which I will link in the description, about the Magitech Mel more than a year ago at this point. And this song was what was playing in the background. So I guess people figured that, you know, why don't they just add it into the game? They must have been, like, demanding it for the last year. So for now, everyone's using Magitech mounts. And the gilded, this golden Magitech, in case you're wondering, is when you get a good number of player commendations. I think it's like 500 or something. Okay, so Ray Frost, you go through here to get right there. This is where we went at the end of 2.4. So you run all the way to the end, and then you turn left and hug the wall. Okay, almost there at this point. No problem. No need to spend time fighting mobs for no reason. Okay, here's Yida. She says, Rowena can be so annoying. She just will not take no for an answer. Every time I visit her, she insists I replace my visor with something more fashionable. And when I tell her I like it just fine the way it is, she says it again, and then again, and then again. It drives me crazy. What I mean to say is, I really appreciate you for doing this for me. So anyway, let's see it. Okay, let's hand over the Moon Daisy. It says Moon Daisies are often hung to rafters, trees, or other elevated locations to represent the celestial body when performing holy rituals to the goddess Mithrie during daylight hours. So Moonbreeder loved these things, you know. I hope that somewhere, somehow, she knows I'm still thinking of her.
I'll never forget you, Moon. None of us will.
The song riseth to a crescendo.
Dun dun dun. Hello.
Is that what I think it is?
Hello, can you hear me? We have received grave tidings from Ishgard. Pray return to the Rising Stones at once.
Oh dear, oh dear. Heaven's Ward is almost here, guys. Okay, so let's teleport straight back to Revenant's Toll. Go to the Rising Stones. There we go. I like how the music going towards Rising Stone is so jolly. Like there isn't an impending war about to happen. Okay, so here's Alphanode. So, my apologies for the interruption. I was deeply saddened to learn of Moonbreeder's passing. Her loss will be sorely felt. Alas, recent developments in Ishgard leave us little time to mourn. The envoy from Corvus will soon arrive, and we must hasten to hear her report. That's the Mask of Grief complete. The next quest is called Defenders for Ishgard. So Alphanode awaits the arrival of the Ishgardian envoy. So the envoy is here. I thank you for receiving me with such short notice. Time is of the essence, so I would forgo the usual pleasantries if I may. Certainly. You come with news of the Dravanians? Aye, the dragons have begun their attack in earnest. The first wave reached the central highlands a short while ago, and battle was joined soon thereafter. Sir Aymeric himself sailed forth with a contingent of temple knights and several companies of the noble house's finest. Though the beasts were ultimately forced into retreat, our victory, if such it may be called, came at the cost of many of our own. Too many. We will not withstand a second wave should the Dravanians renew their assault. You paint a grim picture, my lady. It is reinforcement you seek, then? We do, though it pricks our pride. It is plain we cannot protect Ishgard with our ranks, thus thinned by the Horde. Sir Aymeric would meet with you to discuss the possibility of enlisting your aid. Very well, I shall depart for Corvus at once. I must warn you, however, that the involvement of the Crystal Braves is by no means assured. Our commitment to quelling the unrest in Ul'dah must take precedence. It is with such contingencies in mind that I must make another request. The Signs of the Seventh Dawn are known for sharing close ties with all three of the grand companies of Eorzea. Would you consent to plead our case to their leaders? Though I will gladly appeal to the grand companies on your behalf, I dare not promise a favourable reply. You need say no more. Considering our past dealings with the Eorzean Alliance, I can well imagine how our plea will be received. But the fate of Ishgard hangs in the balance. We must explore every avenue still open to us, no matter how unpromising. I see, very well. I shall send envoys to each of the allied nations and have them present your request directly to the heads of the grand companies. In the event that your plea does receive a favourable answer, know that any support is certain to be conditional. Demands will be made of Ishgard. That is only to be expected. Rest assured that I will speak with Sir Aymeric's authority in this matter, and that our actions are fully sanctioned by the Holy See. Which brings me to my final request, a personal appeal to you, Warrior of Light. The Lord Commander much desires to speak with you, regardless of your fellow's involvement. You face Midgard and survive. Anything you could share of your experience may yield us an advantage over our foe. Thank you. You wear the mantle of hero well. It would seem the road leads us both to Camp Dragonhead. Seek me out when you arrive, Mithrie. Okay, so we need to go straight to Camp Dragonhead. Oh, hello, cutscene. Huh. She has returned.
The sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. Only then will the cycle be broken.
Oh dear.
Brothers and sisters of the heavens, we raise our voices and join you in the chorus. The sinner's feeble magics are undone. Come, claim your retribution.
Dun dun dun. Cool. So let's go straight to Camp Dragonhead. Teleport, yes. Cool. That's Alpha Node. So it seems I was swifter, Mithrie. You two, however, arrived with time to spare, for our host has yet to make an appearance. The murmurings about camp tell of some sort of trouble at the Gates of Judgment. In the Lord Commander's absence, I suggest we visit the place and find out what is afoot. Okay. There we go, let's go to the Gate of Judgment. So the Gates of Judgment right here is what will make, potentially is the entrance to Ishgard. You see right there, Steps of Faith. So it's not too long of a run from Camp Dragonhead. Okay, let's talk to each one of these. So, Bothered Bowman. So, the Gates of Judgment are much more than mere doors. They are the outermost layer of Ishgard's magical wards. If our line of defense can be so easily shattered. And here's a tentahooked Temple Knight. So, when I laid eyes upon Lady Iceheart, I felt the marrow freeze within my bones. Is a Deceptic Dragoon. So, heretic scum, how dare they meddle with our divine protections? I shall rid our nation of their blasphemy, even if it means cutting them down one by one. And here's a Trembling Temple Knight. So, we need not fret over much. There are yet several layers of arcane protection that shield the city from invasion. Mother will be fine. Okay, so we're going to now talk to Alpha Node. So, Chuati the Heretic struck the first and most telling blow against Ishgard. Scions, we expected you at Camp Dragonhead. My apologies, we chanced to hear that there had been trouble at the gates, and thought it prudent to investigate the cause. Then you have learned of the heretic's treachery. Lady Iceheart led a force of her followers against our defenders, and came close enough to dispel the first of our wards. But let us speak more of this back at the camp. Sir Aymeric awaits you. Okay, so that's the Defenders of Ishgard completed. So the next quest is called The Wyrm's Roar. so Alpha Node seems eager to return to Camp Dragonhead. Lady Iceheart has grown bold indeed if she would risk direct action against the city. Come, let us do as we were bid and return to Camp Dragonhead. Lord Harchfont will know where Sir Aymeric means to receive us. Okay, so it's quick teleport, save ourselves a minute of running. Here's Harchfont. So 'tis reassuring indeed to behold the countenance of a friend when one's homeland tethers upon the very brink of disaster. Though a single misstep could send us plunging into the abyss, your heroic presence strokes the flames of courage within my heart. Ah, but you did not come to Dragonhead to listen to my prattling. The Lord Commander has arrived and would treat with you in the Intessery. Okay, so let's go there now. This is where we met him last time. So, greetings, madam. Shall I show you inside? Yes. Cool. So here is Aymeric. So, I thank you for coming with such haste, and apologise for my absence. Suffice to say, Lady Iceheart and her heretics have much to answer for. Yes, we are but recently returned from the gates of judgment ourselves. Given the circumstances, we quite understand if you would prefer to postpone our appointed audience. On the contrary, Master Alphanode, I think it more important than ever that this meeting take place. Rest assured that I shall return to my post on Ishgard's walls for the moment our business is concluded. Before we move on to the subject of reinforcements, however, I would introduce you to a close friend and stalwart ally, Estinian. So may I present to you Ishgard's Azure Dragoon. An impressive title, though I confess I know precious little of the Order of Dragoons. They are formidable warriors all, yet even among such masters of the lance, Estinian is without equal. He, out of all the warriors of Ishgard, was chosen to wield the power of dragons, and may thus contend with any Dravanian. You flatter me overmuch, Lord Commander. If ever I was without equal, I am no longer, as my fellow Azure Dragoon here will attest. Be at ease, Mithrie, I did not come to challenge you this day. Well, now that we have all been introduced, let us proceed to the matter at hand. I will share with you what we have learned of Iceheart's design, as confessed by the heretics taken captive after the assault on the gates. It would seem that Ysei and the Dravanians share a common goal, the reclamation of Nidhogg's stolen eye. Nidhogg, one of the 7 great Wyrms. His name features prominently in our nation's history, though once defeated by the hero Haldrath, the beast is said to have terrorized Corvus since Ishgard's founding. Aye, many are the scars of the walls bear from Nidhogg's relentless efforts to raise the city. The trophy Haldrath plucked from the bested Wyrm's skull, known simply as the Eye, is a treasured relic of Ishgard and one possessed of untold power. Should it ever be returned to Nidhogg, the dread creature would be restored to the height of his strength, and that no wall or ward could erect would be stout enough to deny him. My vengeful son hath waged war against Ishgard for 1,000 years. No mortal mind could comprehend the depths of his rancour. The Eye itself is secreted deep within the vault. It is kept under heavy guard, surrounded at all times by men and women who have proven their loyalty to the Holy See. But those stout walls and sharp blades may suffice to discourage the heretics. The dragons are another matter. There are individuals within the Dravanian horde whom an entire company of knights would labour to repel, to say nothing of Nidhogg himself. Nor does age rob them of their strength. Through the endless march of years, the dragons endure, patient, calculating, inexorable. You must understand, these creatures do not share our perception of time. That is especially true of the Great Wyrms, they who spend centuries in slumber only to wake and resume their campaign as if mere hours had passed. It has been 20 years since Nidhogg last darkened our skies, 20 years for him to gather his strength, and for us to bolster our defences. And now, just as he seems primed to return, the heretics strike at the gates. You believe that Lady Iceheart is in the league with the creature, then? Of that we cannot be certain, though we know the heretics covet the Eye. We have been unable to determine their plans for it. Such questions aside, we must needs address the ragged hole their mistress has seen fit to rend in Ishgardian's protections. 'Tis a weakness the Dravanians are not like to leave untested. It would seem you have described your plight in admirable detail, Lord Commander, yet I cannot help but wonder at your candour. Why share such sensitive information with us? I shall speak plain. Ishgard has need of allies, and I would have you bolster our front lines in readiness for the coming battle against the dragons. This much I expected, unlike our arrangement concerning the Keeper of the Lake. However, only you stand to benefit from our assistance in this matter. I fail to see why we should intervene in a conflict which concerns only Ishgard and Dravania. When the Eorzean Alliance requested Ishgard's assistance during Operation Archon, you refused us. Does it not seem grossly unjust to demand that we now risk our lives in your private war? I make no attempt to defend my country's conduct. I only ask that you consider what would follow were Ishgard to fall. Having razed our city to the ground, the Horde would have little cause to linger, and most would return to their lairs in Dravania. Soon thereafter, the ruins of Corvus would be buried in snow, and the land would become the sole province of beasts and beastmen. Until the Garlean's arrival, that is, for you may be certain that the Empire would not hesitate to claim Corvus. They would not even have to draw steel. An imperial province sharing a border with Mordona? 7 hells. Ah, very well. We will assist you in repelling the dragons. The roar of a great Wyrm may have shaken the formation, but we of Eorzea will not abandon our Ishgardian brothers to face the coming horde alone. Nor did I think you would. Now, upon the matter of the roar. Allow me, Sir Emeric. Through the power of the Eye, I've become the vessel of Nidhogg's strength. His essence has stolen into my very blood. Fear not, I am in full control of my faculties, I assure you, and the Eye itself is of no relevance to this tale. It is not essential that I bear it with me wherever I go. Its lingering influence does, however, allow me to hear Nidhogg's voice. Then the Wyrm who roared was Nidhogg I. He means to hurl his horde against Danifed's collar and shatter the remaining wards that protect the city. There can be no doubt the Wyrm has summoned his minions to war. Cool, so let's now finish this quest. Though the circumstances are far from ideal, this desperate endeavour will at least provide us an opportunity to bring the sister states of Eorzea together in common cause. Sir Aymeric was more ruthless in his negotiations than I had anticipated. I suppose one must give no quarter when one's home is at stake. But did you see the look on his face when he formally requested that assistance? Though the Lord Commander has long campaigned for Ishgard to open the gates to outsiders, I suspect this softening of the Holy See's attitude towards foreign cooperation comes at something of a bittersweet victory. The days ahead promise to be interesting indeed. That's complete. So the next quest is called Committed to the Cause. Alphinaud is ready to begin making preparations for war. If we are to aid the Ishgardians in this war of theirs, preparations will have to be made, and soon. Before proceeding, however, we must needs return to the Rising Stones and make our report to the antecedent. Okay, so let's return to Minfilia in Mordona. Yep, let's go. It's always one of those things. We asked them for help, they said no. They asked us for help, but because we're so nice and so generous, we say yes, because we're heroes. Okay, here we go. Let's go see Minfilia.
Alphinaud, it is good to see you. Tell me, what have you learned?
Pray summon the others. Everyone must hear my report.
So this was all but a taste of what's to come.
Indeed. The main host advances upon Ishgard as we speak.
Whose vaunted defenses have been nullified.
Shorn of its wards, the city will bear the full force of Nidhogg's fury.
All those people.
Alphinaud is right. The Dravanians cannot be allowed to prevail. If Ishgard falls, all of Eorzea will suffer the consequences.
Then you agree that we have no choice but to intervene. For the good of the realm, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn and the Crystal Braves must join the defense of Ishgard.
Let there be no ambiguity about what has been proposed. We would be directly intervening in the war. But if all here believe the cause to be just, then to war we shall go. The path we now embark upon is perilous, but I pray you will walk with us to the end. For those we have lost, for those we can yet save.
Then it is settled. I shall inform the Council of our intentions and request that they contribute their own forces to the defense of Ishgard.
Okay, that was a suspicious look. Okay, so committed to the cause is now done. So next quest, called Volunteer Dragonslayers. Mithrie would have you assist with the preparations of being made for the defense of Ishgard. I have bid the Archons travel to their assigned nations. Should the members of the Alliance agree to pledge Grand Company soldiers to Ishgard's cause, our comrades will be on hand to act as intermediaries for the duration of the conflict. The small matter of persuading the Alliance leaders to grant such support I leave to Alphanode. For you, my friend, a different task awaits. I would have you reach out to your fellow adventurers and gather what allies you may for the coming siege. I would also have you consider the matter of our own security. Revenor's Told is but a short flight from the snowfields of Kyorphus. It is not unimaginable that the fighting may spill across the border. Pray brief Slathborn on the brewing conflict and discuss potential contingencies. The frontier settlers must be prepared for aught that might wing its way over our walls. I only hope that such precautions prove unnecessary. Before you leave, might I suggest that you have Tataru accompany you? She has a talent for administration and a firm grasp of the practical challenges we may encounter. Okay, let's speak to Tataru. So Tataru says, we are rather close to Kyorphus, aren't we? We'd best see to our own defences and take stock of our supplies. Oh, and we'll also need to have beds and bandages laid out just in case. A good receptionist is ready for any eventuality. Let's go, Mithrie. I've 101 things to discuss with Slathborn. Okay, here's Laughborn. So I appreciate the warning. If war is coming to Corvus, then the toll must be ready. I'll increase the number of patrols and lookouts immediately. I'll also see about finding room for an infirmary, as well as temporary housing for victims of the conflict. Ishgard has done well by us in the past, and I would return the favour. But as for rounding up volunteers for fighting yourself, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. I will not send my fellow guild members to die on Ishgardian soil, and I am certain headquarters will say the same. There will be no official Adventurers Guild presence at the siege. That said, each adventurer is of course free to do as he or she will. I shall have word with some of my more capable colleagues on your behalf, and you might try your luck here in Revenant's Toll. I dare say there are a few stout souls about town who will answer your call to arms. So let's get started, shall we? We have a town to rouse. Cool. So we need to now talk to 4 adventurers, see if we can recruit them. So here we go, accomplished adventurer. So, spare me your talk of glory and fame. I am not in the habit of volunteering for lost causes. I've survived this long by trusting my instincts, and my instincts tell me to stay well away from Ishgard. He's like, may I have a word? So Ishgard sounds like she is in a right mess, but that ain't what I wanted to talk to you about. I need you to cast your mind back to the scuffle with the Empire out by the processing plant. A lad from Little Alamigo by the name of Wilred was there with the 4th that day, and I want to know if you've seen him since. Have you? God damn it, I feared as much. No one bloody seen him. It's like the ground opened up and swallowed him whole. But that ain't all. Around the time Wilfred stopped turning up for duty, them black market weapons went missing from our vault in Uldar. So now, of course, half the Brave suspect the lad of making off with the goods. Folk like to believe our company's a disciplined fighting force. But as you and me both know, it's no matter of motley collection of mercenaries, adventurers and Grand Company veterans. The only thing as binds us together is some vague oath about fighting for the freedom of all. That and the steady pay. Now, compared to most others in this crew, Wilred's a fresh-faced novice, a bleeding whelp amongst wolves. But the boy's got passion. When he talked about being a guardian of Eorzea, he bloody well meant it. A lad like him wouldn't rub us blind and bugger off like that. He ain't the type. And then, and this is just between me and you, mind, there's the fact that the lad wanted to tell me about something queer he'd noticed in the ledgers. Something about the Braves' numbers not adding up. And there's a villain at the end of this trail I've stumbled on, and I'll bet me good eye it ain't young Wilred. Any road, we've got a war to wage. I'll let you get on. I just thought someone should know. I'll be seeing you, Mithrie. Well, I don't know. You can always read as far as you like into these things. For example, that wasn't a proper Braves salute. So, quite often people who are traitors, people whatever, will try and raise suspicion against everyone else. Rather than, you know, to try and cover up for their own misdeeds. So, we don't know if this guy is a bad person at this point. So rather than doing the Brave salute, he pretty much did a high five. Okay. Anyway, where are we running? We have to find 3 more. Okay, here's one. So ishgard seeks sellswords to bolster its ranks, eh? So I'm not sure I like the sound of the siege. Those nobles will surely be generous with their rewards. But I have pledged myself to guard Revenant's toll. Modest work though it is, I am loath to break the terms of my contract. What to do, what to do? We need to find adventurers who are not wearing Vanya and Darklight gear. We need better geared adventurers. I wonder if we need to go up here or anything, or if we have to... Where's number? Unless it's up here somewhere. Okay, anyone in here? Yep, here we go. So, volunteer my services in the defense of Ishgard? I think not. Dragons claimed the lives of every one of my brothers. I do not mean to offer them mine. 'Twas to escape such a fate that I took up the mantle of adventure in the first place. I would sooner die in the pursuit of fortune than huddle behind an icy wall. Okay, let's go in here, see if there's anyone. Oh. You could go upstairs. I don't know if it means anything up here. If there's any random adventurer hiding. Storage room. Random room. Aha, there we go. So, sell me blade to the Ishgardians? Well, them dragons are fearsome lot, but I'd slay me fair share if coin was good. I've worked for one of them knights before, you know. Watch me like a bloody hawk, he did. Still, I'd put up with worse than that for a heavy purse. Cool, so let's go back and speak to Tataru. And it's like, wee splat. Friends everywhere. Okay, here's Tataru. So, there you are, Mithrie. So, did you sway any hearts? 1 or 2, eh? Well, added to mine, that makes 3 or 4, not including Southblorn's friends. We won't have the largest company in the army, but I'd say one Revenant's Toll veteran is worth a dozen clanking knights at least. Okay, so that's that quest complete. Next quest is called An Allied Perspective. Tataru had a message for you from Alpha Node. So, I've been so caught up with recruiting that I almost forgot. There has been word from Alpha Node. Apparently the Alliance leaders are conveying an order to discuss Ishgard's plight, and they've requested your presence as usual. Anyway, you'd best make your way to Aldar, or you'll be late. Alpha Node said that he would meet you on the Royal Promenade. Cool, so we need to go to Aldar. Let's go. It's funny how Mithrie got saluted by someone. By Frozen from the Mithrie's Heaven FC here in Sargatanis. So let's teleport now. Aethernet, Chamber of Rule. Okay, let's sprint. Cool. So let's talk to Alpha Node. So my apologies for calling you away from your task. I had hoped to proceed with these negotiations one leader at a time, but it seems my urgent requests for an audience have prompted a gathering of the council. Needless to say, I feel obliged to attend. The Alliance leaders are already seated within. Let us join them, shall we?
We are well aware of Ishgard's dilemma, and we agree with your assessment.
Then I trust there are no objections to the Crystal Brave's intervention.
Uldar has none.
Gridania does not object.
The Crystal Braves are yours to command, Alphino. Do what you will. We shall pray for your success.
It was my hope that you would offer more substantial aid than prayer. I know it is within your means.
Do not presume that you have knowledge of our every concern. The Garleans and the Beast Tribes are but two of many. We are not in a position to contribute greatly to the defense of Ishgard. Not when our own homes are still under siege.
We dare not leave our interests in Cartano undefended as well. Telegi Adalegi and his ilk would seize control of the territories in our absence.
The enemy is at their gates, and you would cower behind yours?
No one is cowering, boy. We will offer what support we can.
Aye, support. A handful of men and no more.
Would that we could commit more than a token force to this cause. Yet there are others to whom you might turn. The free companies ever want for work.
Ah, yes. The free companies. They're not like to turn you down.
No, we're
I
not.
beg your pardon? You would entrust the survival of Ishgard to sell swords?
Glad you think so highly of us,
Choices
Alphino.
like these are the very reason why this alliance was formed. It is our duty to aid our fellow man.
My duty is to my country and my people. If you expect us to place the welfare of a foreign power above our own, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Lest you doubt, Limsa comes first, then the Alliance, and finally, circumstances permitting, Ishgard and the rest. If you cannot understand so simple a concept, then you have no place at this table.
Forgive me, Admiral. I was careless in my choice of words.
He's still a kid.
I suggest you assemble a party of elite adventurers, assuming you haven't already. Your fellows served us well during Operation Archon. I dare say they will do so again. If I may, Your Grace, I wish to propose a redistribution of forces. If we entrust the security of Uldar to the Brass Blades for a time, we can dispatch a larger force to Ishgard. Your Grace?
Yes. Yes, of course. Do what you will.
She obviously seems down.
Is Her Grace not feeling well?
To the best of my knowledge, Her Grace is in perfect health.
I see. Carry on.
Oh dear. Let's talk to Alpha Node. So once again, I owe you an apology. It seems that you have constricted into leading a contingent of adventurers and yet another mission of unestimable danger. But I fear we have been left with little alternative. We cannot well abandon Lord Hearthfont and Sir Aymeric to their fate. We must abide by the Council's decision, a short-sighted as it is, and strive to fulfill our roles as Eorzea's guardians. Captain Ilberd, what news? Then the assault is begun. We have but this moment concluded our audience with the Alliance leaders. Move our forces into position. Your unit will join House Duradrain at Steel Vigil. Man the cannons alongside the knights, and fin the Dravanian horde ere they descend upon Ishgard. I will join you as soon as I am able. Mithrie, I would have you and your adventurer allies bolster the defences of the Steps of Faith. Report first to Sir Marcelane at the Gates of Judgment, and he will direct you to where you are needed most. May the gods grant us victory. Oh dear, oh dear. So obviously we're now getting ready for the Steps of Faith fight. Let's go. So, almost at the Gates of Judgment. And I think if the next part is going to be the fight of the Steps of Faith, that'll be a good time to end the episode. And then the fight itself will be the next episode in this series. But you can feel the war is coming, and A Realm Reborn is coming to an end. Okay, here is Marcelane. So, you are the appointed captain of the Sellsword contingent. Then welcome. There is no shortage of blade work to be done. As we seek, Dravanian skirmisher parties are hurrying positions across the central highlands. I've assigned the Crystal Brazen and your fellow adventurers to contain these scattered attacks, and for the present I would have you join them. This, of course, merely a precursor to the assault of Ishgard proper. The Wily Serpents seek to divide and confuse our forces, but we will not be so easily drawn out of position. The Temple Knights will remain at the Steps of Faith and continue our preparations. When the Horde arrives in force, they shall face a wall of Ishgardian steel. Report back to me once their advanced skirmishers are slain. Okay, so we need to defeat the Dravanian forces within Wyrm. So obviously we're getting ready for the fight, basically. So Wyrm is not that far of a run from the Gates of Judgment, just right there. And one thing you can do to save a few seconds is just jump over this wall right here. Interesting. Because there's so many people doing the same quests here, which should just help each other and AoE it all down. But obviously you want to kill the ones which are marked for you. Nice, nice, nice. There you go. Let's get out of here. So now we need to go... Wow, we need to go all the way over there. So I'm going to teleport straight back to Camp Dragonhead. So we have a war on our hands. So for those of you who don't know, basically Dravania, when you look at the world map, is... Let's see. How do I access the other map? Okay. This one. Here. Dravania is this area here. So we are right here right now in Corfus, and this is Ishgard. But Dravania, this entire part of the continent, which is where we will be spending most of the Heaven's Ward, and also the skies above it as well. And then over here is the Garlean Empire, which we won't see just yet. Maybe we'll see it in the second expansion, who knows. Cool, so far so good. Okay, some more. I just hope that all the players realize that they have to step within this boundary to progress the quest. Okay, we need to go back to the Gates of Judgment, so let's teleport to Camp Dragonhead. I feel sorry for anyone who might be fighting and fighting and fighting without ever stepping into that, thinking, why won't this quest ever end? So almost back there. I'm hoping that the next bit will be the Steps of Faith fight. Okay, so let's complete this quest. So the quest says, Marcelane says, what news, adventurer? The reinforcements? Decimated, you say? Bravanian devils, damn their scaly hides. Hold fast on your grief and fury, my lady. We will avenge the deaths of your fellows in the battle to come. That's complete. Okay, next. So the next thing is called Steps of Faith, and we can pick a quick armor, quick tongue for materia. So Sir Marcelane wishes to prepare you for the siege of Ishgard. Here you commit yourself to the siege. You should know that what it is you are tasked with defending. Beyond the gates of judgment lie the Steps of Faith, a great bridge of stone that leads directly to the city of Ishgard. More than simply a means to cross the Sea of Clouds, the bridge serves as a foundation for the arcane wards that form the barrier we call Danifen's Collar. Alas, in dispelling the barrier's outermost layer, the thrice-downed witch Iceheart stripped the bridge of its protection, and thus are the dragons now able to land unhindered upon the Steps of Faith. Should the Dravanians succeed in destroying the remainder of the wards, the winged devils will be free to swarm within the city itself. Needless to say, we cannot suffer that to happen. It shall be our task as defenders to prevent any harm from coming to those parts of the bridge wherein the wards are sealed. All now rests on us, adventurer. Lead your comrades out onto the Steps of Faith and prepare to meet the Horde. May the Fury guide your blades. Cool. So the Steps of Faith is now accessible on the Duty Finder. Nice. So that's a good time to end this episode. And the next episode will be the Steps of Faith. So anyway guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me and goodbye from Mithrie.